What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick Dang with the Parallax here, and today I am joined by a special guest, one of the co-founders of one of the hottest communities right now in Web3 and crypto, and that's going to be ARK. So, Elroy, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for inviting me. I've always watched your podcast, and finally I'm on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on. I think you have a lot of stories to tell, so I'm very curious. For today, there's a lot of people who may already know what ARK is, right? There's a lot of talk on Twitter, but for those who may be new to crypto, or maybe they're joining the space, or they haven't heard of you yet, how would you describe ARK to them?
I would say ARK is a gang, gang. But maybe I should go back a little bit to the origin story of ARK. Maybe that will help better explain what ARK is about. 4 or 5 years ago, right? Me, other co-founders, and some stakeholders were just sitting in Singapore and we're thinking about what we could do together. And we spotted a gap in the market where we are getting so hyper-connected in the world right now because of the internet. So we're all heading into this new era of digitalization. So every Tom, Dick, and Harry, they have an innate yearning for connection, wanting to be part of a group, wanting to be part of an offline tribe. So we thought that, no one was doing it. It was a blue ocean to tackle. We wanted ARK to be the most desirable or the most dominant digital community. But I guess, as we built upon, this model of community as a brand, we realized that, hey, one of the hallmark traits of community as a brand is that your members have an emotional attachment to the brand itself. This is something not foreign to us in Web3, right? Because you see like NFT holders, they're so enthusiastic about the collection or the brand that they are, part of, or even for tokens as well, for ERC token projects, like Chainlink, right? Chainlink Army, super strong, super cultish. In Web2 though, right? There isn't many of such communities. You have like brands like Harley Davidson, which is not a lot. You have cults, religions, you have gangs, you have purpose-driven communities, right? So like Gold House in America. So their shared purpose is to elevate Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in the Western Hemisphere. And we thought that this is super interesting. But yeah, a gang,
Okay, wait. So let's take a step back. So when you and your co-founders were thinking about what is ARK going to be? Was it just like, hey, this is going to be a community where we uplift each other? Like you guys can kind of do it on yourselves, right? What's the point of like creating this community that people can be a part of and grow something larger than that?
We felt that, the world requires a reset to social spaces, right? We feel that gone are the days where the elites just congregate together to actually suck in all value to themselves. I always tell people this. I hope for ARK, and even our partners, right? I always tell even our partners this. I hope for ARK not to be like so much like Apple and Facebook, where historically they've always sucked in all value to themselves. Whereas you look at the likes of your Google and Microsoft, open source culture, very collaborative, where they know that if a brand and a brand collaborate, especially if the target segment is the same, so the facilitates for cross marketing, there's value to be created there as well. I think in this new world, especially in this Web3 space, everything's about collaboration. If you ask me, Web3 is not just ownership to me, it's also just collaboration, just simply because of the different incentive structures that Web3 has that Web2 doesn't. When we first started ARK, it started as a very generic Web2 idea. So we want to form Asia's #1 digital community in its Web2 form. The shared purpose was still collective value creation via collaborations. What ARK's about, the shared purpose of community, from then to now has never changed. It's all about creating value together. And I guess value to ARK members also has different streams. I think I actually spoke about this to you before. So ARK curates entirely our members, right? And we curate for growth-minded people. What do growth-minded people want? Right? They don't just want to make money. Growth-minded people want access to the right connections, whether to to realize their career goals or to realize their personal goals. Growth-minded people want growth opportunities. It can come in the form of jobs, in the form of content, blah, blah, blah. And growth-minded people want what? They want access to unique lifestyle experiences that money cannot buy. So for ARK, we identify all of this and we deliver it to our members, putting value at the forefront always. I think I went a little off tangent there, but yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so a question I have for you is like, when you guys are starting ARK, right? Like, I feel like my general gist is that you gain some kind of value by helping others. That's like the general feel I get from knowing who you are and kind of what you're saying. Why was there a shift from like, because you could have just like lived your life doing your thing and you would have been fine, right? Is there like a deeper need to want to see others succeed? Does that help you in some way, or what is your mindset around that?
I'm gonna be very honest that I was not really a community person before. I'm a max introvert, and in the past I used to keep within my own circles as well. It was only after building ARC, when we started building ARC and started researching this idea of communities, that we realized, or I realized, that we have to be really grassroots. And this all this idea about giving value to receive value that we always talk about in ARC. This is crucial to us because it is crucial to it's integral to our community strategy, which is that we want members who are not only participate with the community, engage with the community, but also give value to the community. If you want to build a real community, it's very important that you manifest as many bonds, connection between your members. If not, you have not built a community. Actually, you actually build an audience. And what type of connections and bonds, right? I can break it down even further. The best type of connections and bonds you can establish between your members, if you want to build a real community, is support. And that's the hardest.
Okay.
Because once you establish support, you actually bring up intrinsic value or in wanting to be part of the community. So
Wait, so what is real quick, what is support? Like, what do you mean by that?
If you, Patrick, were to go in the ARC app right now and ask for a favor from anyone on anything, I'm pretty sure someone would reach out and try to help you. I am pretty damn sure. Like, okay, I want to look for an artist, then someone gets an artist. You want to look for a head of listings at some exchange, a member will do the introduction. If you want to, I think I saw something very interesting recently. One of our members left his ledger at home, and he needed to do something on it. So one of our foreign members here went to his house to get it and just brought it to him. There's so much trust involved there. It's quite crazy. So I think support is crucial. Yeah.
Right. Got it. Just for people watching this, I'm actually part of the ARC community as well. Something I should mention. So I kind of know what Elroy's talking about. But for people that may not be in the community, right? Like, they're probably thinking, okay, why would these strangers help me? Is it, we all have the same NFTs, so they help me? Or it's like, what's the thing that makes it work, right?
I think NFTs are super interesting, right? I have this mantra for ARC that I've been saying for the last 2 years. NFTs, especially for ARC, is to build community, brand, culture, and to create alignment. Tokens down the line would be to coordinate your members towards a common goal, whatever the shared purpose of the community is. I find it weird that people think that community can exist in a high level one, and people don't actually give value before receiving value. I think this has always been the case for us humans. I remember when Clubhouse first started, I actually learned this idea of give value before receiving value in Clubhouse. So before Clubhouse started, it was gated, right? So I got in really early. And every time you enter a room, they have the moderators and they always talk about giving value to receive value. I thought it was super interesting because they were trying to do it with a very high level audience, right? Before they actually opened the lifted the velvet ropes and everything. I saw that happening for them, even within the Silicon Valley tech community. And I knew that in Web3, this is even more possible because this is the ethos of the space, right? Social coordination, right? When like people want to do like friend tech farming, they actually come together in groups, give each other support, blah, blah, blah. Because they all have the same shared purpose, right? I guess in the wider crypto space, the wider shared purpose is just to make money. But I guess in ARC, because we have our narratives, because we have our shared purpose, we have our ethos, our members know that, hey, if I want to receive value, I should be also giving value because I want ARC to be perceived like a single entity, a quintessential founder or creator, if you may, right? So when we add in the ethos of a DAO or the ethos of Web3, what I'm doing is I'm actually consolidating all the merits of my members into one single entity. The ideas, the talent, the capital, the resources, the networks. So our members know that we align with this idea, right? Not like a cult, right? Our members are not cultish at all, but they all know that we are all chasing collective value creation. And if everyone puts in some work, it will help the overall entity, the
collective.
So that's how we see
it. Got it. And something that I see maybe our community members talk about is the network stake, the network state by Balaji, right? And I remember you mentioned that a lot of ideas that you pondered were inspired by this book, right? So for people that may not know what the book is, right? Some people don't. Like, what is this book, and then how did it help shape what ARC is and what it will be in the future?
I think I'll just start with a high level definition of what a network state is. So Balaji defines the network state as a digital community aligned in purpose. Because there's alignment, it creates a high capacity for collective action, meaning doing things together, just like what DAOs want to be like, right? He goes on to say that this digital community is going to be crowdfunding for territories in the real world, and ultimately they're going to become nation states. So for us at ARC, why are we different from, or why do we start ARC, right? We saw a gap in the market where there wasn't a single digital first community that we want to be part of. Actually, that wasn't one that existed that we want to be part of. And if you go digital first, it's very organic that you still have to go back to the physical space. So I know we have like two members, like three members: Kevin Lin, co-founded Twitch; Patrick Lee, Rotten Tomatoes; Kun Gao, founder of Crunchyroll. They have this community called Fanverse as well. I think it started like 6 months ago, 6 months to a year ago. They're like an ARC, but right now in the Web2 form. And they told me this, right? It was only after they brought some of their members to a certain country to congregate, to meet up, and and have conversations with one another, that they found out that after they did that, it was way easier for those people who went to meet offline to engage more online. So it served as a icebreaker of sorts. We wanted to do an online to offline play as well, because I'm really obsessed with O2O, meaning online to offline, like e-commerce, right? And if you think about it, the network state as well, the end goal of the network state is very similar to what WeWork wants to achieve, right? Obviously, there's like different ethos, there's like different value propositions as well. But what's WeWork, right? Distributed physical locations all around the world in the form of WeWork co-working spaces, all connected online by the WeWork ecosystem, the digital ecosystem. If you think about it, the end objective of network stays the same. It's just that the model, the go-to market is just reverse. Instead of building the physical locations first, acquiring offline customers, simply reverse the model, like what Balaji mentioned, right? You build the digital community first, you align them, then you venture into physical assets. I think if you do it in this manner, it's way, way more scalable. And I know this is correct because I know that Soho House, right, one of the biggest Web2 communities, right, all big creative Web2 community, they've been trying to go digital first for a long time, building their app, building their online connectivity features, blah, blah, blah. I guess for me, for us at ARC, it's because it's way, way more scalable, and it's also easier to build a community in a digital space first, I feel, especially when no one's actually doing it.
Right, right. And so how important is the physical side of it, right? Because
Mm,
recently, like a month or two ago, we were all in Da Nang, right? In
mhm.
Vietnam, and that was a pretty good retreat. So, you know, are these kind of events like very important for ARC? Like, should people expect to have like more of these type of things?
Yes, this is a cadence for us. It's just also very centric to our community strategy. I think we do this almost every week in Singapore. I think overseas as well, our members actually congregate together. I think it's very important, man. Humans are humans. Imagine you build a relationship with someone online. Like ultimately, you're just dying to meet the person offline. I think you can't just run away from that, right? I think it'd be stupid and super extreme ideal narrative to say that you are forever living online and not meeting your peers offline. Yeah, but for us at ARC, the intent of our physical spaces would be to mimic the intent of the app, which is to facilitate the right type of connections, partnerships, collaboration. So you see in Danang as well, right? There was social stuff, but there was also purposeful stuff, on conference events where we were all talking about crypto macro trends, NFT trends, GameFi trends. So yeah, I think it's super important.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, when we were in Da Nang, what was for me like very valuable was there are a lot of people that come from different parts of crypto and different parts of Web 2 as well, right? So there's like the DeFi guy, the exchange guy, the NFT guy, the IP guy. And it's like, I'm kind of in my world and more on the NFT side. But then when I hear about these DeFi guys, I'm like, wait a minute, like, how's that even possible? You know what I mean? So it starts opening my mind to like, how do I
Yeah.
mix different ideas together? Like, do you have like opinions on that, or like, are these
Yes.
things you guys try to facilitate?
Yes. So, I've been saying this for a long time already, since the first time I started doing like spaces and panels, right? That crypto is a great equalizer. It doesn't care so much about your credentials. It's more merit driven at this point. If you see all these DeFi guys and these NFT guys like yourself, everyone has a value to give. Like I remember one of our members actually came to me. He was like, "Yo, I want to meet some NFT people." I was like, "Why? You're such a big VC." And the answer is actually very simple and very clear, right? That crypto is so broad. You can't be an expert in everything. Token DeFi boys may be good at making money, but they don't know shit about NFTs, right? And now there's a new meta like token using NFTs, right? And my friends, my peers who started crypto with me in 2016, 2017, they're all clueless, right? They don't even know how to do a project. So I think, crypto is super interesting in that sense, where at its current form, at current phase of crypto where it's at, maybe it will change in the future because people are all trying to build on-chain reputation right now, right? But in its current form, because it's a new space requires re-education. I feel that all sorts of people can actually have value to provide in a community like art. Like if you think about it, the young members in ARC have all the alpha. Why do they have all the
Mm.
alpha? The answer is also very simple. It's because they have time to rabbit hole 24/7. They're just stuck in their rooms, rabbit holing for every single alpha. All your
Right.
OG DeFi boys, right? All the exchange founders, they don't have the time to do so. So I think there
Hmm.
is a value matching system, like with the
Right.
different type of personas that you see in the crypto space. So yeah, I think that's
Right.
fascinating.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's cool, right? That's definitely for me, it's super valuable, right, as a member. So I'm sure other people feel the same. And something you mentioned was like physical spaces, right? So so far, as a community member, I get to meet people online through the app, get to DM them directly, go to these retreats. But then now you're
Mm,
saying like physical locations that are ARC branded, right? So like,
mm.
tell me more about like what's going on over there.
That is something that we definitely want to do. I mean, like a lot of people don't know this, but the ARC members know this, right? But the public don't know this. We actually tendered for a very big piece of land in Singapore, 17,000 square feet. The idea is that we want to build the first flagship one in Singapore, and ultimately we want to expand to the cities in Asia first, where our members are heavily populated in. In the meanwhile, while our first tender got rejected, but we are having talks with certain entities to find a new location, we're actually establishing partnerships with various spaces across Asia. But definitely, we want to build, or rather, we do have an ambition to build our own spaces in the future. I can't imagine what happens, right, when you create a monster ecosystem where you have a very aligned community sitting on top, but you also have the offline spaces in the real world. And I guess this is what you call the network state, or really our reimagination of what the network state is according to our purpose and our goals. But yeah, I think it's
Right.
super important for us. Yeah.
So what would be like the purpose of these physical locations, right? So if I'm a member, is it
Mm.
like if I go to Singapore, I can just like visit it like a WeWork, or is there like more to it than that?
The entire intent should be to mimic the intent of our app. So we built our app to actually facilitate the right type of conversations, connections, of course, value creation, partnerships, collaboration. So maybe like partnerships, collaboration, you can expect to see like hackathons, right? There would definitely be co-working spaces. There would definitely be meeting rooms, but there will definitely be lifestyle spaces as well, right? NFTs, crypto should not just be about especially being part of a community, it should not be laborious at all. It should have a lot of fun as well. I mean, this is why we're in this space.
Okay, I got you. And speaking of like the members of the community, right?
Mm.
So people looking on the outside, sometimes they might feel like, oh, like who's in ARC anyways? Is it just
Yeah.
like a bunch of rich Asian people? Is it like well, especially for people that aren't so tuned to like what's going on in Asia? So how would you like who's in ARC? Like, how would you describe the members? Right? What kind of people are they?
Mm. Let me think. Do I drop names or do I just describe them? No, I'm not.
I,
I'm
I
not
don't think you have to
greasy
drop
about.
names. I,
Yeah.
I think like generally like what type of
Right.
people are there? I think that's
Okay.
good enough.
So we have young degens. We have anons. We have the famous anons that you see on crypto Twitter. We have VCs. We have market makers. We have people working in exchanges. We have people who are the founders of the top NFT collections, top exchanges, top funds, protocols as well. We have quite a few founders of top protocols. Yeah, I don't think I should drop names, but it's a very diverse community I've built that's made up of the active investors and builders in not only the Web3 space but also Web2 space. I think that's a beautiful thing about art because usually when you build a community, you should not start with such a broad target segment. But I think we've done actually pretty well on there. Yeah.
Right. So is it like on Twitter like right recently people are like the cabal is real, right? Like everyone's part of this cabal. It's like is this the cabal? Is this you mentioned like this is a gang? Is this what it is, or like what are your thoughts on that?
I think people would be I think it would be very ignorant to say that cabals don't exist in the world. I think we all know this, right? In Web2, they're everywhere, right? Just in Singapore, right here, they have the Freemasons actually have a building here. Just even in crypto itself, right? Like you have all these groups that's so cliquish, right? They only share allocations and value with one another. I think this has been the entire trait of the space. Actually, people think that oh my god, the space is supposed to be open, permissionless, anyone can participate. But come on, man, this is the real world as well. I think humans are self-agenda driven, and usually they will only share valuable stuff, whether it's alpha or it's like information, blah blah blah, with their close circles. So I think the cabal is real. We did not really expect to create a cabal, but I think the public is saying that we are a cabal. But I'm not gonna refute that. I think I might just acknowledge it because like how I described ARC at the start. We are a gang. We
Hmm.
want to be the next mafia, but of course we don't do illegal stuff. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, I'm curious about like why you use that vocabulary of like gang and mafia, right? Like, why
Right.
not just organization that has a purpose to uplift one another, right? So
Mm.
why do you use that vocabulary?
Very good question, right? Number one, it's easier to say a gang, right, an organization with a purpose. But I guess the main thing is that gang members have an emotional attachment to their brand, to their gang, right? Organizations don't, right? Web2 brands don't. Maybe only Harley Davidson customers do. So I think a gang is a very appropriate a description of ARC actually. A gang that doesn't do that stuff, right? A gang that actually use the collective power or might of the community to also do good. And that's what we've been doing, right? Like all this charity stuff that you see that they see ARC doing in the partnership with World Vision and all, building schools, building solar enabled schools and World Vision. Now we are already thinking about what next to do to to actually measure the impact and everything. So yeah,
Hmm.
a gang that does not only enrich ourselves, right, that give our members
Hmm.
growth, but also
Hmm.
to empower other. Cliche as it sounds, right? A net positive impact on the world, but
Right.
that's the melody of it. Yeah.
A lot of the members are based in Asia, right?
Mm.
Like I'm based in Asia, you're based in Asia, and a lot of the members, from the ARC retreat that I've met, also based in Asia, right? So, is there like a specific reason why ARC is focusing on the Asian demographic
Mm.
versus, let's say, like hitting the US or hitting
Yep.
Europe, right? Or is that in the plans? Or what are your thoughts?
I am aligned that NFTs should be a global product. However, I feel that life is filled with ideal narratives. We are curating our members, right? And we want to create a common shared experience. The main thing when you build a community and when even you build a social app, it's very, very important that you try to create as much as a common shared experience for as much of your members as possible. So you can get that idea of community market fit, right? We want to start in Asia, right? We're going to grow in Asia. And ultimately, we do have American members. And if once we're done with Asia, we would think about the rest of the world. I don't want to just jump the gun and say that, hey, we're going to be a global product from day one, especially when, when building a community actually entails a lot of doing things that don't scale. I can't be flying to LA and New York all the time or Paris all the time to actually try to meet our members and try to build up a sense of community or a sense of belonging in them, in the
Hmm.
Western hemisphere. I want to do it right here
Right,
first. And if we do a good job
right,
here, then we'll branch out.
right, right, right. That makes sense. And plus, Asia is a very large market. It's like half the world kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So even if you dominate that, that's still like quite significant.
Yeah, I think like just one last thing, right? Like people tend to forget that China dominated crypto or Bitcoin from 2012 all the way to 2017. When 2017 happened, I believe that a lot of the history of crypto was actually created in Singapore as well, where every top project came to Singapore to raise money. Your top companies were all based here in the past as well, right? Maybe right now it's moving a little bit I mean, it's moving more to Dubai and maybe UAE, Abu Dhabi. I mean, sorry. I think Asia will be very strong, especially with regulations as well. I mean, you do know, Western regulations right now is in shit. Whereas Asia, for some reason, is a bit more pro, especially with Hong Kong. Becoming more pro crypto and everything. So yeah, I really believe that Asia will lead the next bull. Like even if you see
Yeah,
some of the protocols coming out in the space right now, they're all Asian founders. So this is
right.
keep
Yeah. Why
interesting
why do
shit.
you think that is? Like Japan, Korea, even South East Asia, Singapore, they all seem to be warming up to the idea of crypto. Is it like a difference in culture? Is it like, is it an opportunity they see, Like what are your thoughts?
Interesting question, but I believe it's also because of the internet. Right now, anyone with access to the internet has all this information to chase and to actually act on. So, for example, e-commerce, right? Let's look at that e-commerce, right? E-commerce, anyone can learn about how to learn algorithms on Amazon or do e-commerce online. But once you learn that skill, right, you can forever. You don't have to work for anyone else for the rest of your life. You just find a new product based out of data and you just sell them. I think the same thing with crypto and AI as well. The information is for you. The information and the value is out there for you to chase it. It's up to you to want to actually chase it or not. So I think Asians, have always been, especially in this, developing nations, right? Where it's like Vietnam, where it's like Thailand has gone past that. Now even in Cambodia right now, I think there's some exchange being brokered there right now. But I guess people are more determined to actually do more in Asia right now. I feel that Asians, when they see value, they just go out and chase it, and they chase it in a
Right.
very diligent manner. Uh,
Right. 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 I mean, it
not
could
not
kind of
saying
be
that
like,
Westerners don't do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna put a
right.
disclaimer down there, and
Yeah, every person's different, right? So it's not like you can't say like all Asians are like hustlers, right? It's not necessarily true, but I
yeah.
kind of understand what you mean. And then for people that like, let's say they're thinking about ARC, they want to check it out, they want to learn more, they want to see if they're a good fit for the community. Like, what kind of members nowadays are you trying to attract and bring into the circle?
Mhm. Yeah. I guess the first thing that I look for in an ideal member is that do they really want to be part of the community, right? Would they actually contribute, participate with others? I have a lot of friends that want to be in art, especially my higher level Web2 friends. But for many of them, I can't bring them into art because I know how they perceive the rest of the world, right? Some of them, they think they're above, everyone else. So for
Right.
us at ARC, we want our members to be community minded, super community centric. They should know that if they participate and they contribute in art, it add value to the overarching art community as a whole. And ideally, they should be investors and builders in the Web3 space. But I just want to put a small disclaimer there as well. Anyone can be a builder right now. I was just telling my team yesterday this, right? It's an era of building right now. I have my guys here, right? They're young boys. They come up with an idea. They come up with the product idea because they're so in sync, right, with what crypto is, the trends and narratives and everything. They come with the product idea, and right now they're starting to execute on an idea by creating a team, finding the devs, right? So anyone can be a builder, and this is why at the start of the call I said that crypto is a great equalizer. This is a very very good example of this. This could never have been done before. So super exciting.
Looking at ARC, they might be looking at, oh, it's not cheap to be part of this community, right? And there's a little bit of a barrier to entry and a little bit
Mm,
of a risk on their part to be like, is this going to be worth it? Am I gonna
mm,
get value out of it, right? So like
mhm.
for people who are like on that feeling on the fence, like like how can you, I guess, make them feel more comfortable with the price, right?
3 ETH for access to the value streams that ARC is providing to our members. I don't think that's cheap at all. Like one thing that people tend to forget, networks are priceless. People with networks usually don't want to share their networks. Why isn't there an ARC out in space right now? Because high level people don't usually share their networks. Imagine you can just spend 3 ETH. You can get any connection you want in Asia, right? You can get job opportunities. You can make money. You have unique lifestyle perks. We're actually negotiating with certain governments right now where our members do not need to queue up at the airport at immigrations, right? We have onboarded 140 over hotels, right? We're onboarding so many Web2 partners that actually want to give perks, benefits to our members. And not only that, right? The alpha that you have, right? Because of the nature of the ARC members, the type of deal flows that you get, the type of whitelist that you get, we don't bring back shit allocations. We don't bring back shit projects. We want to be a signal, right? So it's like me and my team just yesterday aligned. We will only incubate strong projects. We will only invest in good projects.
Got you. Or you mean to say 3 ETH is cheap, right? Relative to the value. That's what you mean to say?
It's cheap, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That actually, yeah, 3 ETH is not cheap. Okay.
Like if you think about it, right? You buy into like just a little bit more, right? You buy into a Soho House membership. How much is that? That's like what a few grand, and you pay like what 250 $300 a month, right? And that's a sunk cost, right? Why is 3 ETH cheap? I think NFT people are just spoiled, dude. You have like what Glimmer DAO entrance is 60 ETH, right? You have FWB DAO during the height of the bull. The entry was 15,000 US, right, for FWB tokens to gain membership. I don't think 3ETH is cheap, especially when you're paying for such valued connections, such strong alpha. So our members have made multiples and multiples and multiples of 3ETH back. Some members have already made a few hundred X of 3ETH back. You get all this access to lifestyle stuff and things that you cannot buy with money. How is that cheap? I don't,
Right.
I, I don't get it sometimes. Uh,
Yeah. Well, you mean how's it not cheap, right?
How's that not cheap? Sorry. Yeah.
How's that not cheap? Yeah, 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 yeah. I get you. I get you. And then one thing that you just mentioned is like incubation, right? So, like, what do you mean by that? Because, like, I think
Mhm.
from an outside perspective, how do people know like what ARC is incubating? How do they know
Yeah.
how ARC supports projects, right? So, can you talk to me about that?
Mm. So incubation right now or launching projects, whether you do a launch pad, whether it's an accelerator, whether it's an incubator, whether it's a foundry model, It's not a priority of ARC right now, so it's not in our OKRs right now. But there are always projects that want to, or venture studios or blockchain protocols that actually want to do stuff with us. When we think about project or launching projects from a community, right? I remember a tweet from Li Jin. So Li Jin is she's one of the co-founders of Variant Fund. She used to be A16Z. She's like one of the biggest proponent to the thousand true fans model, right? Passion economy. And she made a tweet that said that you can start a Web3 social product in three ways, right? So the first way is protocol first, right? Where it's like Lens, or the second way is like that base first, right? Your friend tech. But the third way, right? And right now this is the meta right now, which is community first Web3 social products. She goes on to say that after the community is formed, right, they're going to be launching tools for the community to use, and these tools will ultimately be revenue generating. Even though project incubation right now is not an OKR of ARC, but I am actively looking for projects to actually launch, right? Because I think the timing is right. But I will only look for projects in the short to mid-term where our members can actually get behind it, right? And that's why we curate our members to be builders and investors, so that when we launch projects, the go-to-market will be seamless. After the project is launched, the facilitation of growth will be seamless. And that's the whole idea behind how we design ARC.
Right. So is it like you would invest in that company and help them launch, like almost like a launch
We
pad?
could launch it. So like yesterday I had a meeting. They want me to chase a grunt from a blockchain, right, to build an infra project.
Sorry, chase a grunt. What does that mean?
Get a grunt, chase a grunt.
Oh, grant. Yeah. Okay.
So they want me to get a grant from them, right, from a blockchain. And they have a very interesting idea, right? So we can invest in it. I guess my point is that we can find grants for them, we can invest in it, or we can find investors for them. I think the main thing that we want to do when we actually launch projects is that it's not just about the concept itself, it's about who can actually work on the project to ensure the success of it. So most often than not, when ARC actually launches a project, it will not be 100% owned by ARC. We're going to look for the correct partners, whether from within the community, whether from outside the community, so that we can ensure success of the project. Actually, I think that our model, we are based more on a community foundry model more. So this foundry model is actually something new in the investment space. Not new, but
So recently there have been some projects like, the MON protocol that has kind of like announced its investors and things like that. And I see that, the ARC logo, being placed in that area, right? So like what does that mean exactly, right? Because I don't think there's like a lot of news around that.
Yeah, I made a tweet about 1 to 2 months ago and said that I highly believe that social communities with high capacity for collective action will become the next gen investment and project incubation powerhouse. I guess, with whatever that was shown in the MON, strategic investors, like that's no longer a theory for us. That's actually happening for us. A lot of people don't know this, but we have been on the cap table of many top projects in the past as ARC. So only our members know this. And this is why I would say the cabal is real, where the founder of the project told us not to talk about this anywhere after giving us the allocation, and our members haven't. It's been like 6, 7, 8 months already. They haven't even talked about it at all. But
Right.
yes, I that's how we want ARC to be like. We want ARC, the brand name of ARC, to be alongside the biggest VCs in the world. And of course, for ARC, we are not just your regular, like fly by night founders. We do this compliantly as well through BVI,
Right.
SPV, SPCs. But yeah.
Right. Okay. So I
And
guess,
also that is, I just want to stress as well, that is not the
right.
end of the projects that we're bringing to our members. We have a full backlog of projects wanting us to be on the cap table right now. It ranges from, this current matter of token using NFT projects, whether it's GameFi, whether it's like SocialFi, blah, 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 to like infra projects, exchanges, wallets, the list goes on, even AI projects as well.
Right. So if someone wants to see what that list looks like or the info, I guess they have to be part of the community to see, right?
Yeah.
No, I get you. Okay, so now with the new year coming, right, 2024. So like for this year, like what can people expect from ARC, even as a community member, right? So what can I expect as well?
You expect more value, right? So those four value streams that I described at the start of the call: growth-minded people want to make money, growth-minded people want to access to connect the right people, growth-minded people want any type of growth opportunities. It could even be content, like wellness content as well. Like that's why we brought Brian Johnson in to speak to our members and come and meet our members as well. right? Growth-minded people want access to unique lifestyle experiences that money cannot buy. I talk about value to our members a lot because I know that that is what our members want. This is something that we at ARC have to take on perpetually and to keep delivering value to you guys. I'm just gonna be very honest here. What am I trying to do here, right? What I'm essentially doing is that I'm trying to use these four value streams that targets the core motivations of our members to actually supercharge brand loyalty into them.
Mm-hmm. So what does that mean exactly? Can you say it in a different way? Yeah.
We are all solving for customer loyalty and brand loyalty in the space because there's tokens and tokens are meant to incentivize, right? Right now, NFT people are hoping that their NFT shits out a token, right? And that's what they're looking for. I think meme land has done it the best, right? I have an MVP meme land. When I thought the TG happened, on the day that TG happened, I can just dump my MVP. But when the TG happened, my carrot stake got extended. Now I still want the tokens, but I'm not gonna dump my MVP. I'm pretty sure when they do another airdrop round, the carrot stick is just gonna extend again. So what Ray has successfully done that no founder has done yet is that he extended the customer life journey, right? For us at ARC, right, we're building a family. I want my members to have a strong emotional attachment to the brand, right? So that when we reach the end state of a thriving and engaged community, our members actually become an extension of the core team. And to do that, it's better that I actually try to supercharge or rather to create brand loyalty or customer loyalty in them. I made a tweet this morning, right? Right now we have 25% active contributors in ARC. When I say contributors, right, they do stuff for us like community management, they do research, they do writing for us, they bring back deal flows for us, they chase revenue for us, they create content for us. Our high level members just last week or 2 weeks ago, Darius, founder of QCP, Ray Chan, founder of Memeland, Wang Garen, founder of Tangent Capital. They actually do macro rooms and talk about macro outlook to all the rest of our members. And it's just I don't think that this would have happened if we didn't use NFTs to token gate our community. I don't think this would have happened if we didn't keep drilling and aligning the shared purpose of ARC and the ethos of ARC with them, right? And and ultimately, it's all about customer loyalty, loyalty. Maybe not user loyalty, but rather member loyalty. I don't like to use the word user for ARC. Our members are members. I want to actually create a non-linear funnel because if it's a user, it's just a traditional linear funnel. The users, you open the funnel at the top, you push your users down all the way end of the funnel. They buy something from you, their attention seeps away. This is what a lot of projects don't get. You need to try to create a non-linear funnel. It's hard because it involves doing a lot of things that don't scale. And ultimately, why non-linear funnel? Why customer loyalty? Because if I can build strong customer loyalty, strong brand loyalty, strong emotional attachment to the brand for our members, it's easier for
Mm-hmm.
me to actually retain our members in the middle of the funnel. And I can drop any product here and they buy. Come to Danang, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to Danang. Arc is so cool, right? Oh my God,
Right.
Min Pixelmon, right? We drop the link for what, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, the whole thing gets filled up. Hey, Min
Right.
the Arc merch, pop. Only every member can only buy one of this, and it got sold out in like what? Okay, not that fast. 2 hours, 3 hours, 2.5 hours. So that's the whole
Right.
idea
Right.
and strategy about building a community that I think most of the people in the space don't realize how much effort that we actually put into community building and the strategies
Right.
involved. Yeah.
Right. And one question I have is like, if ARC didn't have an NFT, right? Let's say it was like token gated, like not an NFT, but like actual tokens or a subscription, right? Do you think that would affect people's brand loyalty to, ARC?
100%. 100%.
Why,
Yeah.
why,
What's
why,
not
why,
about?
why like, yeah, why is the NFT so like gets people so passionate? Like,
I don't know, man. Like, I still ask my team members this. I think I asked this about 3 weeks ago. Hey, guys, if we were token gated with just say, not token gated, if our membership was just a credit card subscription, would the high level members in ARC actually contribute? Consensus was like, no, right? ARC on the token aspect, right? ARC was actually supposed to be based on the DAO model, right? But because of various reasons, regulations, blah blah blah, we were advised not to do a DAO. Specifically, me, Kiet, and JJ should not do a DAO. And this was like what? This was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's super early. But if we actually token get our community with a token, ERC20 token, the project ultimately becomes it gets labeled as a social token. Social tokens are the first to fall in the bear, and they fall the hardest in the bear. What's the reason, right? Is because the reason is simple. It's because social tokens are very utility focused. So they don't have that moon boy element. You can't moon. Look at FWB, right? FWB is great. I have a lot of friends in FWB, right? And they love it, right? But when token price fell, a lot of my friends, they felt demotivated to want to contribute or do work for FWB, right? Whereas if you actually token gate the community with actually with an NFT, we all know right now a good NFT project can actually retain the E value in a bear. And that's what all of us DJs are looking forward, right, towards the next cycle. So yes, I think it's a very, very big difference when you actually token gate a community with when you gate your community with a credit card subscription, with a ERC20 or NFT. And it just seems that NFTs are easier for the operator to create brand loyalty or alignment in their members. Maybe it's also because of the picture, the image. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Hey,
NFTs are
hey, you
just
know what's
weird.
funny? When when you guys came out with the like the 3D
Oh,
sellers, that's when I took a second look. I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's kind of cool.
yeah, we kind of fucked up, right, on our first art for our
Yeah.
Stellar. That was like major fun. Like I think I almost died. I wanted to just lie under my in my bed and not come out for the next 2 weeks. I think the Arc Stellar is something that's very important to us at Arc. A lot of people don't know this. I'm trying to create a new type of online to offline as well with our Stellar. Imagine this: you do stuff at Arc. Our members contribute value to Arc. They earn an NFT. The NFT gives them real perks in the real world. You don't have to queue up the airport. Or we partner with a brand. Let's just say we partner with a very big lifestyle group, right? If you mint their NFT for cheap at ARC, you get the, let's just say, Angel Wings trade, right? Zero point 0.5 ETH, you get to access all their spaces globally. Ideally, I want to create different prices of I want the sellers to have different prices, but the prices should not be determined by rarity. The prices should be determined by actual value. What if a member, actually the top contributor in art, we actually give him the ability to talk to Jackie Chan or Cristiano one time a year? I'm just throwing
Right.
shit
Just
out, right?
imagine.
This
Yeah.
is not
Right.
true
Right. Right.
yet, right? This is not true yet,
Right.
but just throwing shit out, right? And what if that was a trait? I want our members to actually customize their traits, build their traits, earn their traits on their Stellar, but these traits level them up in the real world. I know this is, for a lot of founders, they cannot think like, how is this possible? But it's super possible for ARC. I'm already in the process of negotiating for Stellars to not queue up, line up at the airport. It can be done. And this is not a short-term trade. This is actually a pretty long-term trade. It's not going to be just like
Right.
6 months or 3 months. This is going to be years. But
Right.
yeah,
Right. Got it. Got it. That's yeah. I mean, that's interesting, right? The more rare and better your traits are, the better your life potentially could be. That's an
yeah.
interesting
We
way to
always
look at
try
it.
to go against the grain in whatever we do at ARC. I know we got fathered so much, at the start. You guys are normies, Web 2.5. People didn't know who we were, right? Um, but they were saying that, hey, you shouldn't be curating your members, blah blah blah. You shouldn't be token gating with your community with NFT. It should be EIC20, and you should do bottoms up governance, blah blah blah. Hey, you should not be building your digital home or the ARC app on a mobile app. It should be a web app. Maybe Elroy, you also need to adhere to the space a little bit more. Decentralized data storage, blah blah blah. Allow your members to actually control their own data, monetize their own data, blah blah blah. To me, all these are ideal narratives, and I'm just glad that we stuck to our guns.
Right. No, I agree with you. I think you guys got something special going on. So I can appreciate someone that doesn't just follow the wave, right?
I just want
Okay.
to add
So
though,
now,
one last thing. I
yeah.
just want to add though, even though we started Web 2.5, it was calculated, it was purposeful, but we would progressively decentralize. I just want to create a strong foundation first. I just don't want to launch a token. We are very different founders. We are not motivated by short-term money at all. At all. But I'll be lying if to say that we're not motivated by money. But I think for me and the rest of my founders, we are motivated to realize this vision. We want to own or build Asia's number one most dominant digital community. Right? I always say this to my team members and the members at ARC as well. If I can keep these 3 points up, these 3 points of ARC high at all times, I can talk to any project and tell them that, hey, we are ARC. These are the reasons why you want us on the cap table. I can talk to any project and say that, hey, we are ARC. These are the reasons why you want to launch a project with us. I can talk to any brand in the world and tell them that, hey, we are ARC. You want to give our members perks. You want to seed them with products. You want them at your establishments because we are ARC. Those 3 points are brand value, community health, and high quality member base. If these three points are up, I can do any of that I just described, and this is already happening for us.
Right. No, that's yeah, definitely powerful, right? I definitely see it. So now that we are coming to the close of our interview, is there any final words that you want to share with our audience today before we go?
I think a lot of people, when they see art, they think of it as a billionaire, celebrity, or whale group. That's not how we're positioning it, and that's not the case. Like, Patrick, when you see an art, like let's just say in the art app on our Telegram group chats, there's a lot of young DJs, right? We have students, we have people who have never went to college, right? Um, so I don't want people to think that we're elitist. I don't want people to think that only high level people can join art. That's not what we believe in. When we created art, we believe that crypto's a great equalizer, like what I mentioned in the start of the call. We believe that social spaces should be reset. Gone are the
Hmm.
days where elites just congregate to themselves, right? Just based off credentials. We want to change that,
Hmm.
and we want to change that with art.
Right, right, right. And for people watching, from my personal experience, meeting people online and also offline in person, yeah, I would say the majority, almost all people are like very nice. It doesn't matter what level they're at. Actually, it doesn't really matter. People just are interested to know who you are. So I've experienced what you're saying firsthand. So it's not just words. It's actually like it actually is real, right? For anyone who's interested, you definitely should check it out, learn more. So Elroy, thank you very much for coming on the Parallax.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
you.
much. I've always wanted to come on, but yeah. So thank you so much for having me. Much appreciated.
Yeah, no worries. And audience, we'll see you guys next time.